This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan. With your host, Bradley Summers. And get the latest from Alpena Community College with ACC President Dr. Don McMaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Bradley Summers, and this morning our first guest is Justin Christensen Cooper from Art in the Loft. Hey, Justin.
Hey, Brad. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
It's good to be back on the couch.
I know. Thanks for joining me this morning.
You got it.
I know obviously once summer hits, we have a lot of things going on. The community is really in a buzz because there's so many awesome activities and things to do, especially once school ends.
Yeah.
But one thing that we have that's going on and just ending today is actually the Flower Fest.
Yeah. So today's the last day of that. It's the second annual that the DDA has put that on, and with Art in the Loft being sort of really centralized in downtown, we of course want to partake in what's happening with that. And the best way that we can do it, right on the heels of school ending, is our programming. So we offer a full array. Lane Blair Olson, our education coordinator, does a great job of really finding that niche of not only a good instructor, but a good theme, and really pairing it well with what's happening. And so we were out in the Pocket Park pretty much all day Saturday, which was so cool. And then later this afternoon, we have another class up in the gallery with some eco printing, it's called. So I'll back up a little bit. The Saturday we were out in the park all day Saturday. We had our instructors out there, the kids out there. It's just a great thing because it creates buzz too. It's like, hey, what's going on in the Pocket Park? We've got probably the best backdrop ever for our classes with the mural, which is so cool. And they're doing funky flower pots. They just completed those, and then we had watercolor cookies, so edible and artistic. And then this afternoon we have some people coming up for eco printing, meaning you're staining and dyeing your own clothing, but using all natural methods to do so. So just the natural pigments that you find in natural items, such as like onion peels, for crying out loud.
Really?
So, yeah, it's super cool. And we have one of our newer artists actually teaching that class, Christine Johnson. She came on board last season as an artist, a metalsmith, and she just has an awesome talent for that. It's really cool to have her as a part of the gallery. So.
You have so many wonderful people that step up to teach and help classes and give their wisdom and expertise. And, I really see it even with my own 8-year-old. The things that she learns just being there for just an hour or 2 hours is just incredible.
I'll speak on that just for a second. We had a wonderful program. It was Food is Fuel, it was called. It's a pilot program at the moment. Jess Krawcheck teaches that, and she's kind of our in-house culinary instructor at the moment. And a lot of people may know her from her Pampered Chef days and all that kind of thing. She's just out in the public a lot, and she's wonderful with our kiddos. And she started this program, Food is Fuel, and we just finished a pilot program this spring, and we had a group from All Saints come through for 4 weeks of culinary arts instruction, essentially following a curriculum that she wrote that not only teaches, what are healthy habits in the kitchen, like knife skills, washing your hands, knowing the temperatures of things, so all those serve safe type things that you would want kids to know once they enter a kitchen. But then really, what is the mental health behind that? What are some ways that we can express ourselves through cooking? And so she really speaks to that, and the kids just really take ownership over that kitchen. In turn, that turns into ownership of their own kitchen. So the cool part about that, and you're talking about your own kiddos coming up there, All Saints at the end of the school year put on a luncheon for their staff and volunteers and parents. They used the exact menu they learned at Art in the Loft and taught and cooked all the food for the luncheon at the school. So it's just, you see those things come full circle, and you're like, oh, you are listening and you are taking it in, even though you don't think maybe in the moment they are, but it's like really they internalize it. And then all of a sudden their self-efficacy is better, their confidence is better, and they're like a whole different person through, 2 hours a week for 4 weeks up at the Loft. And I think what we're trying to do is things like the Flower Fest that just finished, or our summer program, we're trying to encapsulate those in little small moments. And then we're able to build on that, and then all of a sudden they have a lifelong appreciation for all the arts, and that carries through, and then they're having kids and coming back. And so this is all very cyclical,
Isn't it amazing when you empower young people to do things?
I mean, you know better than anybody.
Wow.
So, yeah.
But, you know, it's because of, you know, those partnerships and, you know, what maybe, you know, at the Boys and Girls Club, we're not professionals when it comes to the, you know, the food and the preparation and the arts and things of that nature. But when we can partner with people like you and your wonderful team that bestows like that passion, that compassion for just understanding the arts and how, like you said, that efficacy and that, you know, showing their self-competency, you know, and it's not just for adults, it's for, you know, it's for adults, or not just for kids, it's for adults as well.
Without a doubt.
You know, and a great segue into that is, you know, discussing talking about some of the featured artists that you have.
Yeah,
right
sure,
now,
you got it.
Because there's local individuals that are part of these, part of your featured artist series, and it's kind of neat that, you know, they're the adults that at some point somebody, you know, helped them understand the arts, and now, you know, they're bringing it full circle, as you said.
It's really cool, and, you know, who we're featuring right now. So first of all, I'll back up. Summerview right now is happening through August 31st. We are open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And right now we have 38 artists. It's our biggest number since before COVID, which has been great to have that number. In fact, we're kind of at capacity, you know. You've been to the space is big, but it's not, you know, it's not crazy big, so we're really lucky to be able to fit all 38 artists in there, and it's such a great time to do that because it's like we have all these tourists coming up, and then they get to really see a sample of what is the talent like in Northeast Michigan, because such a featured artist like Dorothea Sandra from Rogers City, you know, she's integrated herself into Northeast Michigan community through what she's doing in Rogers City, she's been a featured artist at Thunder Bay Arts Council, which we'd love to work in collaboration with them, to now being a featured artist up at the Loft. And she does that through painting, you know, and she has written books about what all this can do for your mental health, why everyone should be an artist, everyone should study art and learn to appreciate art, because it's a niche that anyone of any skill level can find to love. And it's those types of people, you know, and I would say all 38 of our artists on display have some sort of quality like that, whether it's, you know, they're more internal and they internalize their art, and then the way that they can speak to everyone else, maybe it's not them speaking in public or putting on a workshop or something like that, but someone can come see their display and be like, oh, that's what that person's about, you know. And that's what we're trying to do with our students too. We've had students come through our ACES programming where they love photography or they love to paint, and we give them a student wall space, and all of a sudden they're an exhibiting artist up at the Loft. And like what that does is then they become this person that's exhibiting, you know, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s forever, because it is one of those lifetime skills. So.
Yeah, thank you for being able to do that.
No, I mean, it's great, you know, right? And that's what I think every community needs it, you know. So we talk about, you know, we hang our hat on the fact that we're Northeast Michigan's largest regional fine arts center, and to be able to do that, you have to have a broad spectrum of things that you're doing. You can't just zero in on one thing, and you have to have those partnerships, and you have to work collaboratively, because as a nonprofit, you just need to be able to hold hands with everyone else that's doing it, because you're all for the same cause. We're bettering our community, we're making people proud of themselves, and we just happen to be having fun while we're doing it. So
awesome. Well, I'm excited to continue this conversation when we come back for the next segment.
Great.
But thank you so much for all the passion I can already feel right now. But I'm excited to see
it's the lights. It's not. It's
yeah, it's the lights. And thank you for joining us in the first segment. Please stay tuned after the break as we continue our conversation with Justin. Welcome back, everyone. We're continuing our conversation with Justin Christensen Cooper from Art in the Loft. Hey, Justin.
All right, I'm still here.
You're still here. You didn't go anywhere.
It's perfect.
So, you know, we talked a lot about, you know, the featured artists in the first segment. We talked a lot about the wonderful things that are going on. Talk a little bit about the summer program, Arts Around the World, that you have.
Perfect. So, you know, this started 2 years ago, I believe 2 years ago, where the Alpena Public Schools specifically were featuring or trying to get students involved in some of these feature programs to make up for maybe lost time, whatever it might have been, lost instruction, something to continue emphasizing education outside of the school, excuse me, into the summer months, just because of COVID, right? Either kids were homeschooling or whatever it might have been. So they had federal funds to do that, and we happened to be a part of programming. I know that you were at the Boys and Girls Club as well. But students at that time had lots of things to do during the summer that sort of re-emphasized being in an educational setting or doing something that could help keep them on that path, throughout that bridge between the 2 school years. So we came up with a program called Art Around the World. It's broken into 2 segments, 2nd through 5th grade and 6th through 8th, and it's for 8 consecutive weeks. This summer, it's on Thursdays for 2 hours in each session. And literally, we are taking everyone on a trip every single week, all right? Are we leaving Alpena? No, we're not. Okay, we're not getting on a boat or whatever. But we split it up between 4 culinary experiences and 4 visual arts experiences. For example, our first one is a culinary experience where we're taking all those kids into the classroom. These are Alpena Public Schools kids because that's where the funding is coming from. But we're taking them on an expedition to Greece. And so they're going to come into our kitchen and learn Greek cuisine, Greek styles, places to live in Greece, and and then the influences of some of that cuisine as well. Like you might eat something at home and not realize where that's coming from, right? And maybe it has a lineage back to a different country or a different cuisine or a different international style, and that's what we're trying to expose kids to, We get caught so much in our own scope of Alpena, and I think it's super important. My wife and I both have this theory too of like, what can we give? We're an hour and a half from the nearest highway. So freeway, how can we bring experiences to those living here? And I think Art Around the World is doing that. They're going to have a whole week of learning Polish pottery. It's huge here because guess what? We have Polish people here. But then they also get to learn why is it those shades of blue? Why is it patterned like this? So they're going to go into our classroom and actually make their own Polish pottery. Cool. I mean, and just really cool things like that. Another one is Indian cuisine, and just really exposing them to, because yes, we have great restaurants and yes, we have great experiences here, but how can we capitalize on the things that maybe we don't have, where we can learn about these international cuisines and these international artistic styles. So it's completely free to all the students taking that through funding through the public schools. And we're just really sort of kind of emphasizing maybe some things that they're not learning in the classroom and just continue that track of learning in the summer, So it's not, hey, it's summer, school's out, and you're now on a couch for, 3 months. Exactly. And so we have to get kids involved in that. And Art in the Loft we're really just happy that we're able to offer that. And in fact, we're going to not only have it this summer, we've been given the green light to continue it next summer too, and just really build on the success this program has had. We are taking registrations now all through artintheloft.org for that. Like I said, completely free. When you do fill out the registration, you just have to say what grade you're going into for the 24-25 school season and what school you represent. So,
yeah, what a great way to broaden the horizons of so many students in our community.
It's perfect.
Some may have never heard of Greece.
Well, right, exactly, yep.
Didn't even know Thai cuisine or Indian cuisine was actually something they can indulge in.
Exactly. Or that they like.
Yeah.
You just think of it as something odd or weird or different, and you're like, oh, staying away from it. Give me hamburgers, hot dogs. But it's like, actually, there's so much more. Yeah.
And we have Polish restaurants here in Alpena.
Exactly.
And one thing that I'm always really impressed with too is your ability to bring in community partners.
Yeah.
And APS has been a huge catalyst to making sure that these kids are taken care of during the summertime, because that summer slide is a real thing.
It's huge, man, because the drop off is immediate, right? And actually, we should have my wife here; she could tell you all about it. But the drop off is huge, and then you start to slowly get back into that mindset of, oh, I gotta work my brain today, But then by the time the first day of school starts, it's like, well, actually, we have to review everything from last year first real quickly, and then we'll get you into the new content. And really, I think a lot of it comes down to what is the model that we're learning? Can we just put our kids in an educational atmosphere, where they can be successful and find confidence in that? And I think Art Around the World is doing that.
Yeah. Great work.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. Again, we have a great team. It takes a village, and so we really just find what works for our community and celebrate that.
I'm excited to hear all the conversations and the buzz it creates and all the excitement for the young people.
It's going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
And something else that you have going on too, I know throughout this month and possibly even further are some of your the workshops that you have.
Yeah, yep, you got it.
From animation to canvas to pillows, a lot of tangible things as well that you're doing.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so right now we are featuring our June classes. If you go to artintheloft.org, you're going to see a little Create tab up there, and you're going to get a link to into our visual arts and our culinary arts classes. Like you said, I mean, we just have such a cool array of classes. I mean, people go to Traverse City, people go to Grand Rapids, people go to Detroit, Toledo, Ohio for these awesome classes, when really turn inwards a little bit, because we're offering them here, you know, which is so cool. And it really goes back to that who are we working with kind of thing, you know, like very rarely is our own staff actually teaching these classes. Every now and again we love to get out and do that, but we're really partnering with the people that know how to do it best. And that's, you know, and sure, does that person do it for a living? Probably not. You know, it's very rare to find someone only teaching art classes or only teaching cooking classes. But gosh darn it, we have a lot of people that are really good at like this one thing, and we're going to show you how to do that, you know. And so it's just really cool that we can offer those in literally every age group. So, you know, if most of our classes are between 5 and up. And so we offer scholarships for those classes too. A lot of the times people come to our website and say, "Ooh, it's a little too expensive." Well, we got to factor in supply costs, use of our space, instructor fees that we have to make sure we're covering just to even make it happen. But we have a Rick Hasso Scholarship Fund, and it's super important for people to know, if you are trying art or cooking and you just don't know, take a scholarship. Use the scholarship program. That's what it's for. That's what Rick Hasso would want you to do, right? And so get people up there and just experience it. And then you can build on that and say, man, that was cool. I want to take that a step further. So.
And you can find the application for that scholarship
right on our homepage. Yep, just click there. You type in what class it's for. We have yet to turn one down. So.
Excellent. Well, yeah. I'm really interested in the fused glass.
Oh, good. Yes, with Beth Cox. She's from Escanaba in the UP. She is an OG, as we like to call it. She's an original artist of Art in the Loft back from the early 2000s. And she's awesome. She has such a specific skill that, you know, you just can't do it unless you're doing Art in the Loft. So.
Well, anybody out there that's looking for something to do on the weekends or on the weekdays and you have some extra time, please visit artintheloft.org.
You got it.
Find out some really great ways to get involved. But thank you,
thank you, Brett.
so
Appreciate
much
it.
for being here.
Yep.
And thank you for continuing to tune in every week and learn about the wonderful world of nonprofits. Please stay tuned after the break for the ACC segment.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dr. Don McMaster, president of Alpena Community College. I'd like to share our time together this morning to talk about something that's not a real sexy topic, but it's a pretty important one, and it was the stimulus for a special board meeting we had this week on Tuesday. The topic is deferred maintenance or replacement of infrastructure at the college. At our board meeting on Tuesday, the board entertained information related to replacing 2 boilers, or 3 boilers, in Besser Tech. Those of you who are familiar with our campus, Besser Tech is the second oldest building we have. In 1997, the center building, the Newport Center building, was kind of added on to it, so it is the largest footprint we have on campus, and the boilers serve both Besser Tech and the center building. And this past January, we had a couple situations where they failed. Not catastrophically, because there was 3 of them, but it was clear that the boilers needed to be replaced. So this is a big bill, and each building that we have has a boiler or a set of boilers. They each have roofs. They each have electrical wiring. This infrastructure piece is hidden in a lot of ways, but it's very important. And if you don't stay on top of it, it's like having a hole in the roof in your home. You know, eventually it doesn't fix itself, and it creates more and more problems. So deferred maintenance is a big issue for every college and university and every K-12. And where the money comes from to keep up with that is an ongoing challenge. Just to give you a little bit more background on this particular boiler situation, the Besser Tech the current heating system for Besser Technical Center, which was installed in 2008, has experienced equipment failures in the past 12 months, including a leaking boiler which is not repairable. The 2 remaining boilers, while still functional, appear to be nearing the end of their life cycles. After a discussion of the situation and the availability of equipment and contractors, ACC officials decided to replace the Besser Technical Center boilers prior to the start of fall classes to ensure that college operations remain uninterrupted this coming winter. This is a key piece, the window you have to get especially in boilers, to get this work done, both on our end and on the potential contractor's end. An RFP was created based on drawings and specifications created by Integrated Designs, Inc. of Marquette, Michigan. IDI is doing a facilities overview, going through all our buildings to document the deferred maintenance on each of them. So this fell right into that nicely. The work to be bid included selective mechanical demolition and remodeling, including replacing heating boilers, boiler circulators, and all associated piping as indicated on the IDI plans. And so we got 6 bids, which is quite a lot. There was a lot of interest in it. And the low bid for all of the pieces was $433,000. And the college, because the threshold for approval of business at the college based on college policy is anything over $15,000 needs to go to the board for approval. This is a good thing, good policy, and so any bill that is over that has to go in front of the trustees for their review and their approval. So that forces the college to follow a very solid process that lays out, it starts with an RFP, people respond to that, they submit bids. Not in every case, but in this case, generally speaking, the low bidder gets the job because that's the best cost for the college and for the community. But it's a good process. So one of the things that really stood out in the low bidder's bid was how quickly they could get to the work, how quickly they could procure the boilers and the piping and the associated materials. That's a key piece because we have a limited window to get this work done. Really, it seems like school has just ended, but it starts again in the end of August, and by the 1st of October, we need to know that we have boilers that can heat the building. I mean, that is the outer limit. So there's a limited window in there, and if it takes 10 weeks to get the materials to begin the job, that won't work. So it's a lot of good work by Facilities Director Kurt Konieczki and VP for Administration and Finance Nick Breggy. They're both very knowledgeable about facilities and boilers and how things tie together. And so we'll move ahead, and this will be a good thing. People will not see it, hardly, unless they happen to go into our boiler room. It will be unseen, but they will feel it because the temperature will be stable, the boiler will be quieter. We'll see it in terms of efficiencies. Our energy bills will be lower. So all of these things are part of the reason why you have to invest and then do it periodically. You know, campus-wide deferred maintenance, we've made a tremendous amount of progress on. It was something the trustees told me to do. And the Van Laer Hall project, while it was really centered on nursing and expanding the technology and instructional space, it was also to really upgrade that building, which really, really needed it. And so each of the projects we do kind of has a dual purpose, and that is kind of programmatically we're enhancing something, but we're also enhancing and solving deferred maintenance issues along the way. So I just wanted to give you an idea on that. That happened this week. It's a busy time at ACC. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week.
This has been Talk of the Town with your host Bradley Summers and Dr. Don McMaster. For a list of community events taking place in Northeast Michigan, please visit our website at WBKB11.com and click on our community link. This has been a Queen Bee's Knees LLC production, a Morgan Murphy media company. All rights reserved.